Hey guys, I want to take a quick second to go over ABG interpretation. I know this can be really confusing and a lot of people struggle with this, but however, I have sketched out some notes. I'm sorry it's sloppy, but just something I wanted to thread together for you guys to help you when it comes time to interpret your ABGs. So first, we're going to start out on the left-hand column and we're going to talk about our normals. So looking here, we see everything that's normal is listed here on the left-hand side. So you'll be given values and you will be asked to interpret whether they're metabolic acidosis, metabolic alkalosis, respiratory acidosis, or respiratory alkalosis. We're not going to get into the compensation part at this time. We're just strictly going to talk about which condition that they are in. So first, let's look at the pH. The normal pH is a value of 7.35 to 7.45. Your normal PaCO2 is a value of 35 to 45. And your normal HCO3 is 22 to 26. So let's move back up to pH. Let's talk about pH. If you have a pH that falls below 7.35, so we can go over here, anything below normal is acid. It means if they're acidotic. So anything above 7.45 means it's a base. It's alkalotic or alkalosis. So it's a base if it's high, but if it's low, it's an acid. So moving down, let's talk about the PaCO2. First thing we need to look at is the normal values, 35 to 45, but we also see that PaCO2 stands for the respiratory. So you're looking at a respiratory function when you look at the PaCO2. PaCO2 is completely opposite of the other two. So if you have a high PaCO2, that means you're acid. If you're above 45, that means it's an acid. You're acidotic. If you're below 35, below the normal, that means it's a base. You're alkalotic. And then let's look at the HCO3. The HCO3 represents metabolic. The normal is 22 to 26. Again, if you're high, that means you're a base. It's alkalotic. Or if you're low, that means it's acid or acidotic. So take that into consideration. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to show you how to work these values out and interpret whether it's respiratory or metabolic acidosis or alkalosis. So keep these values, write these values down to refer to. You're going to need to remember those values. Now looking down, if we use the Tic-Tac-Toe method, this is the Tic-Tac-Toe method. You draw your tic-tac-toe block, you put acid at the top, normal in the middle, and base at the top right. So acid top left, normal top middle, and base top right. And then you have 6 blanks here left to fill. So just like playing tic-tac-toe, when we get our first line filled up, that will tell us what we're dealing with. So this is your example. I didn't write anything in here, but we're going to go further down and we're going to interpret. We're going to interpret a strip. So I'm going to move this down so you guys can see. So looking at this, we are given a pH of 7.49, a PaCO2 of 32, and a HCO3 of 22. So the pH is 7.49. So when we look at that, we say, our normal is 7.35 to 7.45, so this is high. So we know that if they have a high pH, then that's a base. That's alkalosis. So we're going to go over and write pH here. Okay? Now we're going to look at our PaCO2. Our PaCO2 is 32. That is low. Our normal is 35 to 45, so we know that is low. And if the PaCO2 is low, that means you're looking at a base. So we're going to put PaCO2. Now let's look at our HCO3. Our HCO3 is normal. So we would go over and write HCO3 in the normal column, but we've already completed our tic-tac-toe. We can mark this line out. PaCO2 represents respiratory. So by looking at this, we know that we are in respiratory alkalosis. This is just an example of how to use the tic-tac-toe method. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please see me.